Greetings, YouTube. My name is Charles King. I'm having some problems trying to upload videos to this several times a day. May have some network problems, but maybe a quick test run. I've been a fan of YouTube since pretty much back when it first started. I've been on YouTube since 2005. My friends have been telling me for a while right now, I should give it a try and see if I could upload any videos, see how people would react to it, see if maybe I can be like one of the people like on YouTube that have made themselves well known for their beliefs, their ideals. Honest, like some of my favorite people on the show. Sorry, on YouTube. There's Nostalgia Critic, Nostalgia Chick, Angry Joe, Anthony Santaro, Matt Pound, and also Blair White, and also Hunter Avalone. I've been a fan of them for a long time. I've subscribed to most of their channels and others on YouTube, and I really love their work and everything like that. One of my personal favorites is the Amazing Lucas. He's a pretty funny guy and everything like that, and I like how he's not afraid to talk about what he believes in. I mean, people on this always talk about what they believe in, and everybody should have that sense of freedom. Now, one of the things that I've come to realize, and this is something that has been talked about a lot in media these days, is this. There are three topics that I'm going to cover on my channel. This is the first one I'm going to ask about right here. And if I get enough positive feedback, I will continue to do the other two as well. First thing now I want to discuss is this. Hold on, let me just close one thing here. All right, and that is this. Now, before I begin this, I am in no way bigoted. I am not bigoted. I am not intolerant. Everyone is free to do as they please as long as they're not breaking the law. As long as you're not doing anything illegal, good on you. First thing I'd like to discuss LGBT themes in media. Media itself has become pretty much nothing what it once was. There were times when if they introduced characters like that in the show, it would have something to do with the plot, is relative in one way or another, or that was just a background effect to their personality. It wasn't who they were at the end of the day. Who they had in the bedroom really didn't matter to us because hey, we're not really going to see it, nor would we really want to see it. But I digress. One of my personal favorite shows that have tackled this subject is South Park. It's been running since before even Family Guy ran, and probably even will be long after it's ended. Because that's the deal with South Park. It knows how to tackle things in a mature and also serious way that can also still be entertaining. One of the main things that have also come is this. When it comes to these themes right here, it just makes it irrelevant altogether. They've become the tokens of media these days. I mean, there's literally a character in the show of South Park called a token, as in representation for the token black inside of media. Now, that's happened in a lot of shows where they think they need to incorporate ethnicity in order to make the show relative. But that's not supposed to be the case. What I would care about is if you have a good enough actor who can portray the character in a positive way. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have diversity. That should be inside of it, but don't let their diversity be their only real character dynamic. That's not how it works. I mean, you think I like what's word again, Static because he was just a black character? No, he actually had some real world struggles in that because see, Static was kind of like the Spider-Man of his world. He was just an average, ordinary guy who one day woke up with superpowers. He didn't have a Batcave. He didn't have a Fortress of Solitude. He didn't have $1 billion to build whatever gadget he had. No, he was an ordinary high school student who suddenly gained superpowers. I mean, his place was called the abandoned gas station of Solitude. Seriously, their headquarters was an abandoned gas station. But years later, after some supering, it becomes a teched out Marvel. Speaking of Marvel, Marvel itself has really gone down the tubes lately. It's not exactly what it once was. I mean, they're really trying to make us believe that just because they introduce these characters, we're instantly supposed to clap and cheer for them. Like, for example, right now, there are certain themes in the movies that they've changed over the years that were more better portrayed in the comic book than there were in the movies. But I really did like what I did with Thanos. That his main drive was not just to get with death inside the films. Overpopulation can be a risky thing, and if we don't keep certain things in check, we have no idea where that could lead to for us as a species. Now, I'm not going to say you should all want to go out there and snap half the universe out of existence, but learn to keep things in balance is a good way on how to keep things all together. But the things that I've started to realize is this: they are pandering to everything these days. Stan Lee dies in 2018. May he rest in peace. But the instant he dies, they're talking about introducing all these new characters into it, all these transsexual characters, open lesbian characters, and all that. Let me get this straight. This is a coincidence. The instant he dies, that's when they bring in these characters. Please, they could have brought them in a long time ago. And you know what? I have a very strong feeling it's definitely going to be Captain Marvel that's going to be involved in some gay stuff. I mean, seriously, has anyone seen her style? That is screaming lesbian if I've ever seen anything. That's the thing I'm actually been starting to get back to in this thing right here. When it comes to these things, there's two things I don't like when they portray with lesbians and gay men. The lesbian part right now. Where? And I would beg someone to please show me where is it written where a homosexual woman instantly becomes relatable. I'm not saying that she's not supposed to be relatable, but her homosexuality is not supposed to be the key factor to make her relatable. She's supposed to be having something that makes her unique, like a unique characteristic trait, something that makes her helpful to other people. Like maybe she came from this background or that happened to her, something like that. But the point is, that's supposed to be the main fundamental behind her, not the fact that she's into women. For example, how can I put this? Oh yeah, in shows like Avatar, Aang was basically like I mentioned in another upload, but didn't go through. Was kind of like the Spider-Man of that world. Once again, the kid from out of nowhere got a amazing responsibility with the power he's about to get, and did not know how to respond to it. But eventually, he rose to the occasion and was able to do what he needed to do. Korra, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. Now, again, I know reincarnation and everything like that, even if it's basically the same spirit, it's not the same person. I get that. But that's not the point. The point is, Aang got himself in some problems here or there. But the fact is, Korra herself got herself in way more trouble and nearly died in almost each season. And I think the key reason why it does is because, technically speaking, it wasn't really supposed to even go for 4 seasons. It was supposed to be a mini series that had maybe 1 season, possibly 2, but they were shooting for 1. But the point is this: she basically nearly got herself killed in each season, and in some situations that were highly avoidable. And then comes the Korra Asami stuff. They claim it was going to be an idea from season 1, but I don't see it. Hell, even a relationship between her and Mako definitely seemed kind of forced. Like they were really trying to squeeze that into the story somehow. But I really didn't even care because after a couple episodes, Korra starts to just piss me off, and I don't really care about it anymore. And in fact, how can I put this? Let's put it in this sense right here. In seasons 1, 2, and 3, not many clues of that. In season 4, it was like they're trying to slap us in the face with, hey, we're going to put these two together, so you better expect that, and you better be happy for it. Really, that's really where it was. In fact, in season 2 was like the biggest middle finger there was when it comes to the blatantly obvious idea you're trying to put in right here. But let me get this straight. Mako becomes a police officer. Korra, once again a reckless person, gets herself in over her head, and it says that because he doesn't want to go out with her on a dangerous mission without properly preparing for it, she kicks out of his desk, tarnishes the office, and then just says, you know what? This isn't going to work. We need to break up. That's it. That's how they break up over it. Please, that is the most forced breakup I've ever seen in my life. You know what I've definitely seen even more forced than that was the relationship they tried to establish between Shaggy and Velma in Mystery Incorporated. Now, I've never really been one to really question Velma or sexuality, but I've never really seen any homosexuality on her until they actually say that the one from Mystery Incorporated was a lesbian. And I'd really like to see where the hints and clues were for that. I mean, there were even clues trying to push like there was bestiality going on in there. I mean, seriously, there's an episode where Scooby meets up with Velma making out in a bush, and then he says, "Raggy, are you cheating on me?" Seriously, a dog is asking if its master is cheating on him with a human female. What the hell, man? Seriously. And there's something now, Hunter Avalon. If you ever watch this video, love you, man. Great show. Oh, but bear with me on this. He claimed that the original creators, like ones that did the Scooby Doo movie, had this idea for a while right here. Just one problem though. They aren't the original creators. If I was to go by the original creators, that was Hanna-Barbera Studios. They're the ones who created these characters. Now I'm pretty sure if they were alive at the time when this movie was being made, now I don't know for sure if they were or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure they didn't want that inside there. They were the ones who created Scooby Doo back in the 1960s, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't their idea. I did not see any clues about Velma being a lesbian. In fact, I've seen more clues about her being heterosexual than I've seen her being homosexual. There was an episode that was a crossover between Scooby Doo and Johnny Bravo called Bravo Dooby Doo. My God, how badly did Velma want to jump Johnny's bones? But no, he went for the hot redhead Daphne. Hey, to each his own. And then, okay, now. And here's the thing now. I'm not going to take any live action movies and anything to deal with canon. Not a chance. Because if I was to say about that, there's a lot of problems with that movie that could not go along with the Scooby Doo canon. I mean, in Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated, we see, what's the word again? Scrappy Doo inside there. And basically speaking, they were saying, we don't talk about that. Not ever. Implying that the story of the live action movie took place inside this. But that doesn't make sense in the live action movie, they were in their college years. They're still in high school in Mystery Incorporated. And what happened between them and Scrappy Doo? That, well, that wouldn't make sense. How on earth did the movie have them in college, and then in this one, it's they're in high school, and they swore never to speak about them again? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, now, back to that topic now. Now, Urza from Fairy Tale, strong, badass woman, not blatant, not necessarily, not hiding how sexual she can be, and is heterosexual. And the fact is, there are many people arguing whether or not she should be the main heroine or Urza should be the main heroine, despite the fact that Lucy appeared even before Urza in the story. And you know what? I can't really say I can really choose between them when it comes to better story writing. But the point is, that isn't a proper representation. Now, I'm not saying you can't write lesbian characters or anything like that, but where is it written that a heterosexual woman can't be strong? I mean, look at it in the Harley Quinn TV series. They mocked heterosexual women in there multiple different times. Women who want to get married, women who are in relationships with men. I mean, seriously, did you see what they did to Mr. Freeze inside there? Good Lord, what they did to that man. And then now comes this. Nora, Mr. Freeze's husband, sorry, I mean, Mr. Freeze's wife, who he sacrificed his life for, just hooked up with the jackass that they called for Zeus in this thing right here. Pathetic. Now that's some real bad story writing right here. But the biggest middle finger I can honestly say is this. Why incorporate Kite Man? Why was he in the show? Because he was actually funny. He actually had something to do with some of the background episodes, helped out multiple different times, so I was happy for him. In fact, the dynamic I saw between Poison Ivy and him really, really reminded me of Kim Possible and Ron Unstoppable. You got the hot, capable redhead and the goofy sidekick who team up together on all kinds of missions. In fact, Harley inside this thing was by far the most whiny, narcissistic maniac I've ever seen. And I didn't like that. Harley Quinn was always a strong, independent character. I mean, seriously, okay, I'll give you. A lot of the bullshit that she's ever done before was in love of the Joker because, hey, he fucks with a lot of people's minds. I hope that me saying that doesn't cause too many problems on this. But the point is this in this show, she caused way too much trouble, well more than she's ever done before in her life. And it wasn't even like she was actually evil. She was just trying to get back at the Joker for all those years of torment. Look, girl, we get it. You were in a crappy relationship. That is in no way an excuse to take out your misery on the world. In fact, that's never even been your thing. You've killed a lot of people before in the past. I'll give you that. But more than half of them were on behalf of the Joker, and other people, it was inadvertently, or you were forced to do it because you were on the Suicide Squad with a bomb implanted in your brain, or who knows what. More than half of the things that she's ever done were not really of her own doing. So, in doing so, in turning her into this, mocking the original source material, and getting back to that right now, there's some type of trend where I think that you need to be a homosexual to feel strong, because if you're a man and if you're a woman and you're with a man, that instantly makes you weak. I mean, the wedding episode, dear God, man, what was up with that? They literally make a crack saying that if a woman gets married, that's the only way she's going to be justified in society. Man, screw that. There's a lot of strong women in relationships right now who are not even married and are still a member and a valued member of society at that. To cut the crap, people. Please, I am humbly begging you, cut the crap. And then they come to this where they make everything go wrong inside of it, just so the Kite Man was said, screw it, you don't really love me. This is who you really love, so be with her. No. I call bull crap on that. Serious bull crap. Not to mention, look at this. I guarantee you, if a certain scene in this show was a different way around, they would be roasting him right now. She cheated on the Kite Man twice in one weekend with her bestie. Tried to keep it a secret, and eventually the secret got out. And still tried to go through with the wedding right there. She clearly did not really love him. And yet she kept on letting him believe that all this time. That is disgraceful. And I guarantee you, if Kite Man had cheated on her, they both would have killed him, or the internet would have demanded him to be killed. Apparently, that's what it is. Apparently, lesbians can hook up, and no one's going to shed a tear about it. But when a man hooks up with another woman when he's supposed to be engaged, call fire on him. In fact, that's another thing I also realized. There was a Wonder Woman movie called Bloodlines. There's a lesbian character inside there. And she says, I hope you like him thick. And she ends up with two women at the end of the movie. Good on you, girl. Have fun with that. But let's say the roles were reversed. What if it was a guy who ended up with those two women? They say misogynistic, sexist, and who knows what else. So it's okay for those three women to hook up, but if the guy wanted to be with the both women, cut his head off? That is a serious double standard that needs to be stopped right here. You can't pander to one and then shit on another. That's not how it works. Aside from all that, the movie was pretty good, but that's the one thing that pissed me off right there, because apparently that's how the real world works. Two men making out, so hot. Man wants to make out with multiple women, he's a monster. Cut off his head. What the hell's up with that? What the hell? Fact is, I don't know why they're doing this. Maybe I never will. But listen up. You want to write these characters, just know three things. Make them relative to the story. Use more than one personality trait. And above all, do not let that key trait be the only thing that's relatable about them. There has to be more than that. Now, this is one of three things I'm going to talk about on this. The other two I'll discuss if I get enough positive feedback on this video. But for sake of everyone who ever grew up with these characters, and for the love of humanity, stop it. You're never really going to reach people this way. You're not. Because if you do, you're just going to keep on turning more and more of them away from this. So far, every one of these people who tried these ideas has lost money, fans, revenue, and is probably on the verge of bankruptcy at this point. It's not how it works, people. You can't say that you want to help the people by making them into a joke. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I dare someone to try and point out how I am wrong, because you know what? there are people actually in the LGBT community that are saying that this is just getting out of hand. You think that someone who is homosexual can't find strength from someone who's heterosexual, and someone who's heterosexual can find strength from someone who's homosexual? Look at me, I'm heterosexual. In fact, there's a lot of gay actors out there. I really love their work, like Sir Ian McKellen when he was Magneto right there, or Gandalf when as well from Lord of the Rings. Brilliant actor and awesome portrayals and everything like that. Neil Patrick Harris when he was the music meister in Batman: The Brave and the Bold. Awesome scene, boys. And I loved him when he was a stoned white guy in Undercover Brother. Yeah, now that was funny. That was hilarious. And the fact is, we didn't even know that they were played by homosexual people at first. Well, maybe I didn't know, and some people didn't know. But the fact is, they didn't even bring it up inside there. Now, I'm not saying they couldn't have been that, but that was not their only dynamic. They were funny. They were relative. And more importantly, they were relatable. So that's all I'm asking. And what a lot of us are asking, make them relatable. But do not use one personality aspect to make them really be marketable because you know what? You're not going to market it to anybody but yourselves. And on that note, I wish everyone a pleasant good evening. Peace.